What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, aka Unique Mazique, the hardest working man in sports and gaming. I am a fight guy and a Forbes contributor, also writing for Heavy.com. And we're talking UFC Fight Night 171, Smith versus Teixeira. And we're looking at the main card, Ricky Simón against Ray Borg. This is a bantamweight fight. Ray Borg, just was having a lot of problems making flyweight, made the move up, which I think was very smart. Ray Borg, somebody you just kind of just root for, man. He's had so many things that have gone wrong with personal life and with his family and his son. Battling illness, and he's just a guy you root for. And it's good to see him on a 2-fight win streak. Unfortunately, Ricky Simón's going the opposite direction. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, which makes these odds a little bit strange to me as we look at this. Ricky Simón's a minus 165 favorite to beat Ray Borg, and Ray Borg's a plus 145. So we're going to get into this, and these odds obviously are presented to us by Bet Online. So Ricky Simón is one of those guys who really got started really strong with the UFC. I mean, he came out, he looked like, he looked really good. I mean, now his first fight in the UFC on the main roster was against Merab Dvalishvili, and I thought that this was a crazy fight, right? Because Merab was in control of this fight, and I thought he was winning. He had this fight won, but he ended up getting caught in a guillotine at the end, and it seemed like he went out, but then it seemed like he came back, and they did not actually call it in regulation. They had to kind of go back and look at the replay, and they ended up calling it a technical submission, which I always thought was kind of a little... If the fight wasn't called during the fight, then it's because literally, if you look at the records, it is a technical submission loss with 5 minutes in the third and final round. Like how is that possible? So I always thought it was a little crazy. Simón was on Dana White Tuesday night Contender Series and won a split decision over Donovan Freelo. Ended up still getting on to the main roster. So he has some talent. But I think he got exposed back in July of 2019 when he was a 46-second knockout victim of Uriah Faber, who was fighting in a comeback fight that nobody really thought he had a chance to win. Then Simón fights very talented Rob Font in his next fight, loses a unanimous decision in that fight as well. So now he's taking on Ray Borg. And Ray Borg obviously spent most of his career as a flyweight. But Borg's on a 2-fight winning streak, and I think 135 is just a better weight for him. I know he's only 5'4", but I just think it's a better weight for him. He's a fantastic grappler, just a very strong, explosive athlete. And I don't know. This is a really tough one to look at. If you look at this from a striking standpoint, Ricky Simón has a lot of holes from a striking defense standpoint. But Ray Borg, striking has never been his calling card. That's not how he generally gets it done. But his striking accuracy, even though he's not nearly as active as Simón, is higher. It's 52% of his strikes he finds a home for, while Simón only lands 40%. So that's a significant enough disparity to pay attention. Also, if you look at, Borg doesn't absorb a lot of strikes because he doesn't want to stay on his feet long. He's taking less than 2 strikes per minute, while Ricky Simón is taking nearly 4, which is a lot more than he's actually landing. Now, strike defense is 65% compared to only 46% for Borg, but I think Borg has kind of mastered not keeping the fight in these stand-up positions for very long. He goes for the takedowns, but so also does Ricky Simón. Simón is averaging 6.5 takedown attempts per 15 minutes. That's a lot of takedowns. Borg is 4.2, but I'm going to tell you something. One of the reasons why Borg is averaging a few less takedowns is because he generally controls his opponents better when he gets them there. His takedown accuracy is 51% compared to 49% for Ricky Simón. And Ricky Simón's defense, though, against takedowns, this is important, and this is why you might see the odds makers going for Simón. He shuts down 71% of the takedowns that are attempted against him. We know that Borg needs to take him down to win this fight. We know that. If Ricky Simón can stop the takedowns and keep the fight standing, he should be able to have his way against Borg. But that's the question. Can he stop the takedowns? 71% of the takedown defense is somewhat of a barometer to pay attention to, but he hasn't done it against Ray Borg. And every fighter, every matchup is different. Now, Borg only has a 50% takedown defense, but how many people are really trying to take down Ray Borg? I don't know. Maybe Simone is, because that's also where he eats. So this is a very interesting matchup, because with both guys being so good at wrestling and both guys usually going for takedowns, are we going to see the fight go to the ground, because that's a big part of both of these guys' game? Or are we going to see Ricky Simone try to take advantage of what appears to be an advantage in striking? I don't know exactly, but what I do think is that at some point, some way, Borg is going to prove himself to be the better wrestler. And that might be going out on a limb. Some people might be saying that I'm crazy because of how good of a wrestler Ricky Simone is. But I believe that Borg gets this fight to the ground, and Borg proves himself to be the better, more effective wrestler. I haven't hardly ever seen anybody out wrestle Ray Borg. Maybe the only guy I've seen out wrestle him is Demetrius Johnson, and clearly there's no shame in that. Ray Borg was the guy who was caught in the famous mouse trap, which was that back takedown turned into an arm bar, which is, to this day, the single most amazing submission sequence that I've ever seen in mixed martial arts. It was just crazy to transition from a throw to a submission in, seamlessly that way. But you just don't see Ray Borg out wrestled. It just doesn't happen. So I don't think it happens in this fight. We can look at it and say, hey, we're going up a weight class. This is a bigger guy. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I got Ray Borg here. I'm going for another upset. I think this is my second upset pick for this card. So make sure you check out the other odds and predictions videos to see the other ones. But I think this is my second one so far. But I got Ray Borg to win this fight by decision. I think he proves to be better on the ground, controls him. There's a chance he could get this fight by a submission. I definitely think that he has 6 victories by submission in his career already. And if you look at Ricky Simone, you look at his submission defense, he's only been submitted one time ever, and that didn't happen. That happened earlier in his career. He actually was put to sleep by a rear naked choke by Anderson Dos Santos. He's a type of fighter you might have to put him to sleep again if it's a choke. So we'll see how that transpires. But I got Ray Borg winning the fight. I want to see what you guys have to say about it. Put that in the comment section. And also don't forget again to subscribe, hit that like and the notifications bell. I appreciate you watching as always. God bless and peace.